All right, let's get right into it. Today, we're going to break down a really high-value AI service that, cuts through all the usual hype. This isn't about just generating more content. Nope. This is about creating clarity, and it's a massive opportunity that's basically hiding in plain sight. And I'm willing to bet this quote hits home for a lot of you, right? I mean, if you've been feeling a little skeptical about all the promises of easy AI money, well, you were probably right to be. The whole market just got flooded with low-quality, generic junk. But that is not what we're talking about today. So that really gets us to the core of the problem with most of these AI gigs you see everywhere. They're all focused on the wrong thing. They're just creating more noise in a world that's already incredibly noisy. I mean, just look at the difference here. On one side, you've got this saturated market of soulless blog posts and generic captions. It's just a race to the bottom, really. But on the other side, that's where the real opportunity is, structuring knowledge that already exists to solve a huge business problem. And that is the key shift in thinking, from AI as just a content creator to AI as an organizational powerhouse. So what is this huge business problem I'm talking about? Well, it's something called the content chaos epidemic. And believe me, this is what creators, experts, and coaches are secretly drowning in right now. Okay, so here's the deal. Think about any expert you follow. They have years and years of super valuable ideas, podcasts, videos, articles, you name it. But it's all a digital junkyard. It's a mess. So when they try to feed all this chaos to an AI to build a chatbot, the AI just gets confused and spits out terrible answers. They're sitting on a treasure chest, but they have no map. And that is where you come in. See, the solution isn't more content. The solution is a totally new role, the AI knowledge architect. You're the person who shows up and creates the map to that treasure chest. And the actual thing you create for them is called a custom knowledge base, or a CKB. This is your tangible product. But it's not just a random folder of files. No way. It's a perfectly organized asset. It's the single source of truth, built from your client's own genius, but designed specifically so that an AI can actually understand it. This is the perfect analogy, honestly. Anybody can dump a bunch of files into a folder and call it a day, but you become the librarian. You're the one who curates, organizes, and creates a system that an AI can actually use. That's the premium service. You turn a client's chaos into a perfectly indexed library of their own genius. So you're probably wondering, okay, how do I actually do this? Well, it's not as complicated as it might sound. Let's just walk through the exact 5-step blueprint to get you started. So here's the plan. We'll go through these 5 stages. First, really understanding the problem. Then, grabbing the simple tools you need. After that, building the actual knowledge base. Then, finding your first clients. And finally, turning this whole thing into a real, sustainable business. Now, let's look at the toolkit. And honestly, this is the best part. No coding required. Seriously, all you need is a transcription service to turn audio and video into text, a place to organize everything like Notion or Obsidian, a good AI assistant like ChatGPT to help you categorize things, and then a way to deliver the final product. Just simple, accessible tools. Okay, now for the real work. The foundation of any good CKB is what we call the client's core principles. You got to think of these as the AI's constitution. These are the non-negotiable beliefs that it must always follow. So for a financial coach, a core principle might be something like asset allocation is more important than market timing. By getting these down first, you make sure the AI's answers are always aligned with the expert's philosophy. So once you've got that philosophy set, you move on to the key methodologies. These are the client's signature step-by-step processes. For instance, if they have something called the debt tsunami method, you literally break it down into clear sequential actions. And this is a really big deal because it teaches the AI how to give practical, actionable advice, not just vague theories. Next up, you build an FAQ database. And this thing is an absolute gold mine for training chatbots. You literally go through all their content and pull out every single question they've ever been asked, along with their answer. What you end up with is this powerful resource that lets the AI give super precise, pre-vetted responses in an instant. It can handle all the common questions with perfect accuracy. You know, AI is great with facts, but it's pretty terrible at telling compelling stories. And that's exactly why you need to create a story library. You go through and catalog all of the client's signature anecdotes, the personal stories they always use to teach a lesson. Each story gets a title and a key takeaway. So now, when the AI needs to explain a concept, it can pull up the perfect human story to make its point. It just makes the whole interaction feel so much more authentic and memorable.
And finally, you put together a glossary of terms. Every expert, every coach, they develop their own jargon and acronyms, right? Well, without a glossary, an AI might totally misinterpret that unique language, and that could lead to some wildly incorrect answers. So by defining every single term, you make sure the AI speaks the client's brand voice perfectly, and you protect the integrity of their ideas. And with that last piece in place, the CKB is complete. So where do you find people who actually need this? Well, they are everywhere, hiding in plain sight. Just look for people who create a ton of content. Podcasters, YouTubers, authors, coaches, anyone who is rich in content, but you know is probably poor in structure. They have hundreds, maybe thousands of hours of untapped value just sitting there, waiting for someone like you to organize it.
All right, let's talk about the part you're probably waiting for. How do we translate this service into actual income? Let's break down how the numbers can work.
For a foundational project, let's say organizing maybe 10 to 15 hours of a client's core content, a starting price between $1,500 and $2,500 is totally reasonable. And you have to remember, you're not just organizing some files. You're building a permanent, high-value asset for their business. This is not a low-cost gig. It's a premium service right from day one.
And this is how you get to that $5,000 a month mark. It's not about finding dozens and dozens of clients. With just 2 or 3 of these projects a month, you're already there. And as your portfolio grows and your process gets faster, you can easily raise your rates and scale your income. But here's the really crucial part. You've got to move beyond just one-off projects. Once you've built that amazing CKB, you can upsell them. You can offer to actually implement the chatbot for them for a setup fee. Or, even better, charge a monthly retainer to maintain and update the CKB as they create new content. This is how you build a stable, recurring revenue stream. So there you have it. This is the opportunity. The real AI gold rush isn't about creating more noise. It's about creating clarity from the chaos that already exists. The real value is in becoming an architect, not just another writer. So the only question left is, what are you going to choose to build?